Barack Obama has faced accusations that he wasn't even born in the United States. Coming up, Red Sharon investigates the president accused of being, brace yourself, Canadian. Of course, all you need to disprove that is a record of his U.S. birth.
Parents would come in and register the birth.
Was his registered?
His wasn't registered.
A cross-border mystery. Next on The National. So Barack Obama has been sworn in for a second time, and questions about his place of birth seem to have finally simmered down. But the so-called birther movement might want to take a closer look at another president, Chester Alan Arthur. If the rumors are right, he was never eligible for the Oval Office, but he could have been Prime Minister. Red Sharon explains.
Nestled into the rolling green mountains of Vermont, near the tiny hamlet of Fairfield, you will find it. What they call the Chester Alan Arthur Historic Site, the place where the 21st President of the United States was allegedly born. John Dumville looks after historic sites in these here parts.
He was born here in Fairfield in 1829.
But throughout his political career and until the day he died, there were questions, accusations even. Was he really born on American soil? Or would those ridiculous mutton chops really look more appropriate attired with a hat made of Canadian beaver? You see, just 40 minutes up the road and one short border crossing later sits the community of Bedford, Quebec, which says, wait a minute, eh? This is where Chester Alan Arthur was really born.
I, for one, believe that he is really America's first Canadian president.
As far as historian Heather Darch is concerned, the evidence is more than compelling.
Not a very happy-looking fellow, really, is he?
No, I'm afraid not. They said he was quite into fashion and he was a bit vain.
New York lawyer Chester Alan Arthur was a flamboyant fellow back in 1881 and a controversial choice to run on the Republican ticket as vice president with James Garfield. Within months, Garfield was dead from an assassin's bullet. But even as they swore Arthur in, questions began about his birthplace. After all, under the Constitution, only those born in the United States can become president. Deep in the historical archives of Bedford, Quebec, say some, lies the truth.
I'm looking at names of people in the area from the early 1800s.
Among those names, William Arthur, Chester's father, a minister and teacher whose wife's parents also lived in Bedford in 1829 at the time of his birth.
These are early images of Bedford. This is the main street.
So his father's house would have been not too far from here?
Not too far from there. So this is the birthplace of Chester Alan Arthur. Typically, a woman would have gone to her mom's place because she had other children as well already.
For support.
So for support.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
It gets better.
This is the schoolhouse that William Arthur, Chester's father, taught in.
Okay, so,
yeah. So, and the school was built in about 1820, one of the earliest in the village. And ironically enough, it's called the White House.
The White House.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. That proves it.
I know.
Well, them's fighting words back in Fairfield, where locked in the town vault, Clerk Amanda Forbes has leather-bound documents of her own.
It says William Arthur was a member of the Superintending Committee for Schools
In 1829.
in 1829, which was a 2-year position.
Right, and that's the year Chester was born.
Yes.
It's all in the book, says Amanda. Well, almost.
There were no birth certificates.
There were. You'll look through this book and you'll see some entries. Parents would come in and register the birth.
Was his registered?
His wasn't registered. No. Too bad. It really
Would have
is.
stopped all this controversy.
That's right.
Then there's the homestead in the woods. It used to be called the birthplace. Now they say it's just a replica. Arthur may have been born somewhere else.
It was originally called the birthplace, yeah,
So why did you stop?
because we corrected history. And now it's called the Chester Arthur
This is all very
Historic Site.
suspicious, you know.
I know, gosh.
Back in Fairfield, just outside Chester's Bakery, the locals don't really seem to care where their 21st president was from.
I'm good if he was from Canada, okay? I'm okay with that.
And in Bedford, Quebec, people don't seem to have a clue who he was.
Chester Alan Arthur.
Oh, I don't know. Should I put?
Okay. So, does it matter? It does to Amanda Forbes.
I think it's just an interesting mystery. I don't think anybody's fibbing. I think both of us believe strongly.
Yeah.
But I think the evidence shows he was born here.
Then somebody's fibbing.
And John Dumville?
Or at the end of the day, does it really matter?
Oh yeah, it does, because it brings visitors.
Heather Darch says she'd like to see more visitors here in Quebec at the real birthplace of America's 21st president.
Historical Society is not telling fibs. We're simply passing on the information that we were given. And the story is that he was born here. So in a sense, he is the 21st president of the United States, but he's really a Canadian.
One last thing. Just before he died, President Chester A. Arthur burned all his personal papers. So it's likely no one will ever really know the truth about what he may have had tucked up under his hat. Red Sharon, CBC News, Bedford, Quebec.
Well, President Arthur wasn't just sneaky, like burning all his personal papers. He was also a little quirky. His fastidious ways earned him the nickname Elegant Arthur. He loved changing his clothes many times a day. Easy when you own 80 pairs of pants. Arthur was also an avid fisherman. Nothing strange about that, except he reportedly caught a bass weighing 36 kilograms off Rhode Island. He didn't like the White House decor, so in 1882, he cleaned out the place and had 24 wagon loads of furniture and 30 barrels of china carted away and sold at auction.